Good morning, Spark friends. Today is Wednesday, so you know what that means. It's time for another one of our Spark stories. We are continuing our journey around the world, and you will notice something new behind me. Okay, we have been to so many places, but I thought it would be kind of cool to make sure that we remember where we're going by putting up some flags from each one of those countries. So let's review real quick. We have been to Russia, Papua New Guinea, Italy, Mongolia, Scotland, Pakistan, Peru, Kenya, and way over here out of sight is Thailand. I don't know about y'all, but I am really enjoying our travels. Well, hold tight, friends, because today we're going to Canada. That's right, I am taking you folks to Canada, and we're not even leaving my office. Let's put it back on the board. Wow, I'm gonna have to get a bigger clothesline. Okay, so let's take a look at our map here. All right, so here is North America. We're going to a place called Prince Edward Island, and it is in the country of Canada on the continent of North America. Now, you get bonus points if you know this. Somebody else you know lives on the continent of North America. Who is it? You're right, it's you and me. We live in North America too. So today we're going way up here to Prince Edward Island, and you'll notice that that is not far from the polar bears. So in the wintertime, it gets really cold there, but in the summertime, it is super pretty with lots of flowers and green things. Okay, today our story is called Anne of Green Gables. Now, they call it Green Gables because of the house. You see the house where Anne lives? Okay, those are called, these peaks right here are called gables, and they're green. So the house is called Green Gables. And here she is, a little girl right here. Now this book was probably, this story about Anne was probably, I would say probably around the 1900s. So what she's wearing is, you know, a little bit different from what you would wear to school. But that's because it was kind of back in the olden days. Okay, so our book today is based on a novel. That's a chapter book that was written by a person named L.M. Montgomery. And then this story was taken from that big chapter book. And it was retold by a lady named Mary Sebag Montefiore. That's a hard name. Try to pronounce that. And the illustrations are by a man named Alan Marks. Okay, friends, let's get started. I think you're going to like this story. Anne had been an orphan ever since she could remember, but now Matthew and Marilla had agreed to adopt her. She gazed with delight at the blossoming cherry trees as Matthew drove her to their farm. Prince Edward Island is the prettiest place in the world, she chattered. I never thought I'd actually live here. I can't believe I have a real new home. Green Gables is just beautiful. I'd be perfectly happy here if it wasn't for my red hair. Now, let me just say, friends, I happen to like red hair. My sister has red hair, and I wish I did too. Anyway, but Anne did not like her red hair. She sighed, "Oh, Matthew, red hair is such a trial. Oh, such dramatics." "It doesn't matter how you look," declared Marilla when she said goodnight that evening. "Just behave, and we'll do our best for you." "I'll try," came Anne's muffled voice. "But it's really, really hard to be good all the time." "I agree." Whew. Talk about pressure. The next morning, Anne looked up from her bedroom window, filled with determination. "Now I'm at Green Gables. I will be dazzlingly good. Always," she promised. I sensed trouble coming. But that afternoon, that very afternoon, Marilla's friend came for tea. She took one look at Anne and said, "Well, what an ugly, skinny child, and her hair is as orange as a carrot." That was not very nice. "I hate you," Anne screamed. "You horrible woman." Ooh, that wasn't nice either. Furious, Marilla sent Anne straight to bed. "You should have heard her, Matthew. Such a temper. What are we going to do?" I'll talk to her, said Matthew, and I'll ask her to say she's sorry. He found Anne sobbing her heart out. I will say I'm sorry, she sniffed, but only because it's you asking me, Matthew. You and I are kindred spirits. That means that they're a lot alike. Anne sank to her knees before Marilla's friend and clasped her hands together. You were right. I am a red-headed, ugly child. Please forgive a poor, homeless, unloved orphan. Marilla couldn't help smiling. Anne was actually enjoying her apology. She's quite the actress. No house with Anne in it will ever be dull, said Matthew. I just hope she doesn't lose her temper at school. Anne loved school. Her best friend was Diana, who had shiny black hair and dresses with wonderful puffed sleeves. How Anne longed for a pretty dress, too. Her tunics were plain and dull. Guess who wants to be your friend? Diana giggled one day. Gilbert Blythe. A boy. Anne thought Gilbert was cheeky. She ignored him until he whispered, Hey, carrots! Then whack! Anne whacked her slate right on top of his head. Anne Shirley, shouted the teacher. Anne had to stand in front of the class for the entire afternoon. She was too angry to cry. Instead, she decided to change her hair. And she vowed that she would never, ever, ever forgive Gilbert Blythe. And look what she wrote on the blackboard, friends. Miss Shirley has a very bad temper. I wonder if she got in trouble for that, too. All right, when Anne didn't come down for tea, Marilla went to look for her. You've got green hair, she gasped. I dyed it, Anne wailed, and it went wrong. Oh, Matthew, I'm in the depths of despair, Anne declared the next day. I didn't think anything could be worse than red hair. I'm thinking green probably is. Cheer up, Matthew smiled. It will wash out eventually. Anne's hair was soon red again, as red as the turning leaves, but she didn't mind. She spent every day with Diana, sharing stories and sweet, ripe apples from the orchard. And racing through the frosty winter snows. Boy, that looks fun. For Christmas, Matthew surprised her with the prettiest dress she had ever seen, and she wore it to perform in the school play. She had never been so happy, but she still would not forgive Gilbert for teasing her about her hair. One afternoon, Anne decided to take out the old boat. I'll float off into the far blue yonder, she murmured. She was drifting in the deepest part of the river when the boat sprang a leak. Anne was lost in a sea of daydreams. She didn't even notice that the water was filling in the boat. Oh no, help, she yelled as she almost capsized. Anne, called a voice. There was Gilbert pulling her to safety. I'm sorry I called you carrots, he said. Can we be friends? Anne and Gilbert became the very best of friends. And when they grew up, they got married. Wow. But that's another story. Oh, good story, friends. I enjoyed that so much, and I hope y'all did too. Anne of Green Gables is a series of books, and there's several more of those. So if you really like this book, go to the library, because that's where I got this one, at the Rusk County Library, downtown Henderson, and check out some more of these books. They are very, very interesting. Okay, friends, I hope you'll join me next week. I'm going to have two very special guests join me, and we are going to Mexico. Yay! Hope y'all have a great week, and I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Bye, friends.